meeting to. So it's 5:02 p.m. and the chair calls this meeting to order. Before we do the Pledge of Allegiance, I want to make sure and take some roll call. So we start with Trustee Kane.
Present.
Trustee Murillo.
Present.
Trustee Pierce.
Present.
Trustee Stoma.
I'm here.
Trustee Vogt. Trustee Sullivan.
Present.
And Trustee Ayers Wilson. All right. Let us move with the Pledge of Allegiance. If you can please follow me.
To the flag of the United States of America, for which stands one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
Dr. Head, has the meeting been properly posted and certified?
Yes, it's been posted in accordance with the law.
Perfect. So we will have closed session for this particular meeting. So we're going to move to closed session and we'll return back maybe like in 40 minutes. 30 minutes.
5:30.
Around 5:30, we'll be back. Okay. Thank you. Public comment. So before we open up public comment, just want to make sure and mention this because I know we have several individuals signed up to talk today. So we have several members of the public signed up to speak to the board tonight. In order to ensure that our meeting runs efficiently, we're going to limit the total amount of time for public comment to 30 minutes. Which means that each speaker has roughly 3 minutes to speak. Thank you. So Desiree.
Yes, Madam Chair, I will call them one at a time. We're going to start with Dr. John Bergdorf.
Good evening. I am Dr. John Bergdorf, President of the American Federation of Teachers here at Lone Star College. Thank you for this opportunity to speak with you today. Tonight, you will be voting on the Lone Star College budget for 2022-2023. The union recognizes that the college is continuing to navigate unpredictable times, and I want to express, on behalf of our members, our appreciation for the efforts that so many people have made to plan for the needs of our institution. The budget you see before you respects the financial challenges of our community by projecting revenues on the assumption that property tax rates will not be increased. It makes responsible use of college reserves. It asks students to take on a modest increase in tuition that will relieve our dependence on tax revenue while continuing to keep the cost to students dramatically lower than all other educational opportunities available to them. While fiscally responsible, the budget funds new initiatives to further meet the needs of our students and to expand our impact on the people and the economy of Montgomery and Harris counties and surrounding areas. Tonight, several members of the AFT have joined me here in the boardroom. They're sitting over here to my right behind me. I especially want to express on their behalf and on behalf of all the members of AFT and myself, our appreciation for the compensation increases included in this year's budget. The faculty, staff, and administration of Lone Star College have sacrificed tremendously to serve our students and community through these last several challenging years. And the budget proposed clearly indicates that our efforts are valued and respected. The 4% compensation increase planned for September, followed by another 4% increase in December, will keep hardworking employees up to date with current inflation trends. The fact that the December increase raises pay bands for most job categories provides relief for employees whose salaries have reached the top of their bands and will make the college more competitive as we seek to hire new talent. We're especially appreciative that our adjunct faculty are being singled out for a very high increase of about 8.7% for most of them. The budget for fiscal year 2023 presented tonight as action item number 2 is fiscally sound and responsible and will ensure that Lone Star College will continue to provide access to quality higher education for the citizens of Montgomery and Harris County and the surrounding areas. The AFT supports its passage this evening, and thank you so much for your time and attention.
Do we have our next speaker?
Yes, ma'am. I'd like to call Paulette Adamick.
Good evening, Board. I'm grateful for the opportunity to be here this evening to remind you again of the community's concern regarding our homestead exemption tax rate. Lone Star Community College has and continues to assess in the neighborhood of a 19% tax rate on homestead owners in Montgomery County. We homeowners, in part the reason for your existence as a business, are being taken advantage of for your own gains. We are requesting the 20% exemption. An 80% tax assessed value should be more than enough. This is true governmental overreach of immense proportions. This is wrong. I ask myself, how can one possibly sleep at night knowing that some homeowners are currently or will be in the near future no longer able to afford to live in their homes and forced to sell or foreclose because they can't afford their taxes in the midst of our current recession? This is a reality and a devastating result. We are asking you to wash your hands of this. You were elected by we, the people, to represent us. If you are for the community, then you will place the homestead exemption item on the agenda for next month and vote to do the will of the people in favor of the 20% homestead exemption. On another note, I requested email addresses for each of the Board of Trustee members. I received only 4 email addresses from Chief of Staff Board Liaison, Desiree Probasco. That is a 50% willingness of the board to personally and openly communicate with the public, 2 of which were already provided for at a private meeting in July with Steve, Miriam, and Mike. I want to say thank you to Lashaya Ayers Wilson and Ernestine Pierce for your willingness to be accessible to the public. This speaks volumes to us. As for the other board members, and I will list for the record that to date, we are unable to directly email Michael Stoma of District 1, Art Murillo of District 4, David Vogt of District 5, and Jim Kane of District 9. In closing, let me remind you that you were elected by the people to represent the people. Anything less is a breach of your oath. In November, we anticipate the opportunity to once again go to the polls and vote our will. Board members, it is time to do what is right. It is time to be on the side of the people. It is time to make right the wrongdoings. Thank you, and may God speak to each one of you and give you the will and actions necessary to make whole each and every Montgomery County citizen.
I'd like to call in Edward Scruggs.
Good evening, Board and Dr. Head. I appreciate the opportunity to talk to you this evening. I have seen a proposed fiscal year 23 budget, but I'm not sure if it's what is going to be presented tonight. So I really can't, I guess I can't comment on it, but I will say that you have acknowledged a 16.5% increase in the tax revenues for 2022, 2023. I guess that amounts to about $28 million in additional tax revenues based on the $172 million tax revenue that you had in 21. I don't know if that's based on the 22 budget or the 21 numbers that I saw. It's confusing. But either way, I can't find approximately $10 million that is missing from the tax revenues. I don't know where that is in your budget. I would hope that you have included in your budget tonight that you're going to show us and vote on. I would hope that you have included as a line item the 20% of homestead exemption that should be allowed for the homeowners in Montgomery County. If you're not being good stewards of the money that you receive from us, the taxpayers. I would note that the state allocation that you receive from the state as tax income comes from us as well. So that money goes to the state from our tax dollars and it comes back to you. So we not only are paying, not getting our full homestead exemption by paying less, by not receiving the full deduction, we're also paying money to the state that you get back. So we're getting whacked twice by not getting the full exemption, but we're paying more to the state. So I appreciate your time. That was a little confusing, I know, but it was, I haven't seen your budget, so I can't really comment on what you're going to show us tonight. But I would hope that your 20%, our homestead exemption, full 20%, is a line item in that budget that you will allocate money for. Appreciate your time and thank you very much.
I would like to call Tina Orbaugh, please.
I just want to know why. I don't understand. I don't understand why you don't give 20%. To me, it's common sense. I don't understand why you only can do 1%. Is it you don't like the people? Do you get the money yourselves? Do you keep it yourselves? Why do you need that money? I don't understand why you won't give 20%. Do you not care? It's the right thing to do. The right thing to do, not the wrong thing to do, the right thing to do. And I hope you take a look of what's right and what's wrong. I mean, these are people that are struggling. These are people that are fighting just for 20%. And I don't understand why you won't give it to them. That's about all I wanted to say. I really didn't even know if I was going to talk today, but I hope the spirit comes to you. I hope you look at God, you look at what's right. I hope you have God as your center. And I hope you take a look at these people and you end up doing the right thing. That's all. Because you can always try and see, oh, how much money can I get? How much money can I squirm out of these people? How much money can I do? But it's not right. At the end, yeah, I'll lose. So good luck and thank you for listening to me. But I hope God is your center and you make the right decision. Thank you.
I would like to call Melinda Olind, please.
I am also requesting the 20% exemption be put on the Lone Star Board's agenda for next month. Many people are suffering with the high inflation and exorbitant property appraisals. Now, the latest is many in our county are getting exorbitant water bills, electric bills, and it's like there's so much out of control spending by so many entities. But with the extreme growth comes with it more taxes collected by Lone Star and the other entities. Surely you can do the right thing and give us, the taxpayers, our full 20% exemption. Thank you.
I would like to call Alex Harris, please.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak to you all. And to be honest, if you give 20% or not, personally, does it affect me? No. But I'm the president of our little community. It's a middle-class community. A lot of people are struggling, even to pay their dues. And we've had to go after to collect from them, which is heartbreaking. So I really request you kindly to consider this seriously and give us the full 20%. Thank you.
I would like to call Sharon DesMarseilles, please.
I'm so glad to be here. I'm a newly elected MUD director in the Woodlands, and I ran on a platform of taking a holistic approach at all of the taxes that are paid by our residents. So this is my first time here to join you, and I just wanted to be very brief. There was a recent article in Hello Woodlands, it's an online newsletter, that quoted our tax assessor, Tammy McRae. She was complimenting the city of Conroe for going from 2.5% to the 20% exemption for homestead. And I simply wanted to encourage you all to get on the bandwagon. It will help us with our sticker shock. And we encourage you to put that on your agenda. Thank you so much.
I would like to call Bob Bagley, please.
Good evening, y'all. I sit on the board for Montgomery County Hospital District. So I've sat in your shoes and going through this with people asking for the homestead exemption. In 2018, Montgomery County Hospital District approved the 20% homestead exemption. And we also changed the disabled exemption from 25,000 to 75,000. We don't have the income that y'all have, but we still service all of Montgomery County. It cost us $2.5 million to make that change, but it helped the people in the community to be able to have more money in their pockets. And let's face it, this is a school, so hopefully somebody knows their history, but we fought a war in 1776 against the King of England so that the king would no longer own our property. That's not true today. We now serve a new king, and it's government and it's entities like this that we have to cow to. Otherwise, we lose our properties. The people in Montgomery County need to have your assistance in lowering the rate by 20%. Thank you.
Madam Chair, that concludes the public comment.
Thank you very much for all those who spoke this afternoon. Although the Open Meetings Act prohibits us from discussing items not on the agenda, would like to thank all of our speakers for coming tonight and sharing your thoughts with the board. Thank you so much. If we could move to
have one more. I'm terribly sorry. Susan Scruggs.
Oh. Hi, Susan.
Good
Thank
evening.
you.
It's good to see you again. I'm here, Susan Scruggs, and I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the economy in Montgomery County, what's happening in Montgomery County. Right now, nationally, the inflation rate has gone down a little bit, which is a good thing, but it's still 8.5%, and it's at the highest inflation rate that it's been in 41 years. The price of oil has come down a little bit, which is good, but it's still 82% higher than when President Trump was in office. Since oil is higher, inflation it's inflating everything that we're buying. It touches everything that we buy, everything that we need. The price of oil affects it. As long as it's high, we're going to have high inflation. Credit card balances. People are using their credit cards because they can't afford to buy things for their shoes for their kids, piano lessons for their daughter. They're charging everything on their credit cards. Credit cards for a second quarter is up 13%. It's the highest it's ever been in 20 years. What you're seeing is families are struggling. What I found out this week from a real estate agent who does only foreclosures is that what's happening with the inflation, the 35% per Judge Keogh is the average inflationary or the average assessment increase in the homes in Montgomery County. So what's happening with mortgage companies is that they're seeing that the homeowners are going to be paying more taxes. So the mortgage companies are letting the homeowner know that they have to fork over $2,000 or $3,000 or more for their escrow. And the families can't afford these inflated escrow amount to come up with what they need to required by the mortgage company. So consequently, they're losing their homes, and it's rampant. And I didn't have a chance to get the figure on how many more foreclosures there are, but the foreclosures are up. And every month there is just a surplus of homes being sold on the court steps, and they're being swooped up by investors. And that was something new to me. And so I want to ask you, how do you feel about the people in the Montgomery County losing their homes? How does that make you feel? Hopefully not very good. So what we're asking is that for next month, you put this on the agenda. You don't wait. You're trying to push it back, push it back, push it back. I'm saying put it on the agenda, talk about it, vote on it, approve it for the 20% homestead exemption. That's what I'm asking you to do. It may not mean a lot to some people, but there's a lot of people that these few $100s extra a year could be, 5 trips to the grocery store, 10 trips to get gasoline. A little bit of money goes a long ways with a lot of people. So I'm asking you to please take a look at it, think about it, and do the right thing like everybody else has mentioned, and show Montgomery County that you're not only concerned about educating young people, but you're concerned about the citizens that have been supporting you and this college that we're very proud of, by the way, for years. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Ben, for sharing your thoughts. I would like to ask Dr. Head if he can provide just a brief comment.
So our plans were to have a workshop at the next meeting, and I'm gonna have to reach out to probably you, Ms. Scruggs, just to make sure that we're including some of the other information. I do think it's worth, I've been in Austin quite a bit, and you all know that maybe you don't know this, that the legislature is planning on directing money for a tax rate buy down. And we're not sure how that's going to impact community colleges, but we'd be glad to get all the information together and present that to you. There are a lot of factors with us. We're right now, just so we're clear about this, we are down 2.8% in credit hours, which is our tuition and fee, which is approaching right now about $5 million. And then there's a new state finance commission that a new model that we're working on. I'm not quite sure how that's going to impact the college. So we'll come back and I'll be in touch with you. Let's put it that way. Then we can talk. Okay.
Is there anyone else for comments?
No, ma'am, that's the conclusion.
Thank you. Our next item is the introduction of special guests and recognitions. Have any? No. Okay. So we move along to the approval of the minutes. I hope everyone had the opportunity to kind of review the minutes. Thank you, Trustee Sullivan. Next item is the workshop. No workshop. Okay. So we go back to the approval of the minutes, and I hope everyone had the opportunity to review them. So may I have a motion and a second to adopt the minutes of the June 16, 2022 budget workshop and the June 16, 2022 workshop and regular meeting, the June 29th special meeting on redistricting, and the July 29th budget retreat.
Stoma, so move.
Okay. It's been moved and properly second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? The item passes. Thank you. Our next item is special reports and announcements. Dr. Head?
So just a couple of quick updates. I had sent the board a note already about what's going on at the state level. And just to reiterate what I said earlier, there is a new model for being discussed that will be hopefully be approved by the legislature in spring of 2023. We're still not quite sure how that impacts us, but just for the rest of you out there, the model is shifting toward growth to performance funding and outcomes funding, which we're totally in favor of. We have been promoting that for years with our state reps and state senators and the governor and the lieutenant governor, anybody that would listen. Instead of just giving money just for the sake of giving money, we would like to see outcomes and reward what we think and what the state thinks are priorities. For example, graduating students and putting them to work and helping students come through, the dual credit students, helping if you've got going into the workforce, we want to see credentials, not just giving colleges money just because they have students. And that's been the model. What we're talking about is changing the funding model that's been around for about 50 years. And so we want to see transfers rewarded and adult learners, people that are coming back to school. So the biggest issue in this whole thing is a couple of things are going on though. One is, how do you strengthen the workforce in Texas? Because for us to continue to prosper and bring in businesses and keep tax rates where they at a lower rate, then we need to bring in business, but you've got to have a trained workforce to do that. And over half the population doesn't have access to community colleges. And so 143 out of the 254 counties lost population. And so in those areas, there's not access to education the way that you think might be there. And most of the state, by the way, is outside of a college. Lone Star is unique. I appreciate your comments. We are one of the premier colleges in the state because we have the numbers to show that with the number of students that we have in workforce, how well they do when they transfer, the dual credit students, and how well they do, and just our relationship we have in the community. And I think some of you know, all four of my children went to Lone Star, and they're very successful. So I'm really participating in this model. I'm very optimistic about what's going to happen with the state. Now, locally, we're still struggling with we're waiting on students to come back. I'm optimistic that they're going to come back. So we're down about a percentage point in head count. We still have about 20 days before school start. We're down about 2.8% in credit hours, which is where our money comes from. So we'll see. We've got a major marketing push on, and it's just a matter of time till these students come back to school. It's just a matter of time. I don't care whether they're working or not. Sooner or later, they're going to hit a place where they need more education. What we want is to be rewarded, even if they're working. They don't necessarily have to get a degree to help. I mean, they can get these certifications in workforce, for example, and it can be credit or non-credit as long as it helps them in the workplace. That's what we're interested in. So, but I think the college is moving in the right direction. I really do. I think it's, I'm not so worried about what everybody else is doing, but I will tell you, compared to everybody else, we're doing well. But we measure ourselves against ourselves. So I'm looking for a forward trajectory as we go forward. So that's it.
Thank you, Dr. Head. Board members, do we have any special reports or announcements?
One thing, we have convocation on August the 26th, which is a Friday. So board members will be sending you a special invitation to that. So, okay.
Trustee Sullivan?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, thank you. If I may, I want to just thank everyone who participated in the board retreat recently. For those of you that don't know, we gathered off-site. I think we were there maybe six and a half hours talking about issues related to budget, enrollment, HR issues. The list was very long. Of our 9 trustees, we had 7 in person at the facility. We call it a retreat, but trust me, it's a workshop. And the other 2 board members were remote. I think it is probably most productive when we're all together and we all can to see each other, hear each other, and talk, and then visit as well. But it was a productive retreat, and the first one we've had since the beginning of COVID. So it was good to get out, get together, go off site and talk about issues. I want to thank everyone that participated.
Thank you, Trustee Sullivan. Any other comments? Next item is, do we have any board committee reports? Okay. Do we have a policy review committee update? The policy review committee update?
No committee update. I'm meeting with Mario on Tuesday next week to kick that off.
Okay.
I have some questions about the exact status that the high priority items had gotten towards bringing it to the board.
Okay.
I think there's just one more step on those high priorities.
Okay. Thank you so much, Trustee Vogt. Our next item is the consideration of the consent agenda. I hope everyone had the opportunity to review the consent agenda. So before we vote on this, I know that we're going to set aside item number 2. And then item number 37. Board members, any other items that we should set aside for discussion? So hearing none. May I have a motion and a second to adopt the items number 1, number 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, and 36.
Motion, Sullivan.
Thank you. May I
Second.
have a- Perfect.
Stoma second.
Thank you, sir. It's been moved and properly second. Those in favor, please vote aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Madam Chair, this is Trustee Pierce, and I'm abstaining from voting for the action items that you called out. I want the record to reflect that I am voting to abstain, and also my reason being, again, that the documentations presented and the action items are not clearly justified for my vote. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Trustee Pierce. Make sure to let the record show that Trustee Pierce abstained.
Yes.
Thank you,
Why
ma'am.
I abstained, and please let the record reflect why I'm dissenting. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Pierce. The items passes. Thank you so much. May I have item number 2? Jennifer? May I have a motion and a second for consider item number 2,
Motion.
please?
Stoma second.
It's been moved and properly second. Thank you very much. Jennifer?
Yes, thank you, trustees. If we could go to the next slide, please. If we could go back one real quick. Just to show the budget cover, we don't have to stay here long, but I am pleased to present to the board the proposed budget for fiscal year 2023. This would be for next fiscal year that begins September 1st, 2022 and ends August 31st, 2023. If we could go to the next slide, please. So just to go through all of the hard work that has been put into this, culminating in this agenda item. There was significant discussions with the board at a budget retreat presentation to the board back on March 3rd, where a number of significant proposals were presented. And then again, another workshop was presented to the board on June 16th with a detailed outline of what was planned to go into the proposed budget. And then from there, we used that outline to build the budget report, which was released this past Friday electronically to the board and posted on our website. It's a 126-page, very detailed budget report reflecting the proposals presented on March 3rd and that outline presented on June 16th. If we could go to the next slide, please. So with those lengthier discussions that happened back in March and June, I just want to provide some high-level highlights tonight. First, that there's a net increase in revenues of 25 million in this proposed budget. The majority of this does come from property taxes at 19.3 million. This is based on no change in the total tax rate, keeping that at 10.78 cents. The remaining amount, about 7 million, comes from an increase in tuition and fees that the board adopted this past March that is taking effect for this current fall semester. Next slide, please. Some of the expenditure highlights is overall, it's a net increase of 29.8 million in expenditures. The bulk of this is 21.6 million in compensation increases, primarily driven by inflation, another 4.8 million in a contingency for inflationary impacts on the cost of goods and services. So you can see that this about 25 million in there, that even is about equal to the new revenues that we're receiving, estimating to receive in the FY23 proposed budget. Additionally, some of the initiatives, we have 3.5 million for COVID initiatives that have already started. We started them, several of these during COVID, using COVID funds. And if we wish to continue them, we need to start moving them onto the operating budget. As the COVID funds, we have a deadline to spend all of those by June of 2023. This budget also includes 1.1 million for repair and replacement of our facilities. We do also have elections this November. So last time around, it did cost us about 900,000. So we have 1 million in this budget for that, as well as additional funds for safety. With all these increases, we do also have another 11.6 million throughout the budget that was reductions and adjustments to help offset these cost increases. Next slide, please. So with these highlights, these are the steps from here. Like I mentioned, the budget detail was released this past last Friday. And then tonight for the board's consideration of the FY23 budget.
Then later this month, mid to late August, is when we are expecting to receive the final certified appraisal values from Harris, Montgomery, and San Jacinto counties. Oh, and then it lists the adoption. Then at the September board meeting is when the board needs to propose a tax rate and set a public hearing. And then later on in September, there will need to be a special meeting to have that public hearing and to adopt the tax rate. So with that, thank you very much. And please let me know if you have any questions on the proposed budget.
Colleagues, do we have any questions?
Oh, this is Mike Stoma. I'd just like to say, Jennifer, that again, you and your team have done a superb job of compiling this budget. And in my opinion, you're the best in the state. And you certainly are forward-thinking and forward-looking and plan ahead, identifying your risk and your mitigations as to what we face in this ever-changing environment we have. So again, I congratulate you and your team. Good job.
Thank you. And if I could, please say thank you to not just my team, but so many people throughout all of Lone Star College that put so much work putting this budget together. We have vice presidents of administrative services do a lot of work, campus business directors and their teams. This year, the enterprise application team gave us significant help this year because we implemented a new budgeting system. Facilities and police for helping everyone work the long hours and keeping us good there when we stay at the facilities late. Marketing, our analytics team always provides a lot of support. Financial planning analysis, the team that puts the report together, and Nissa Peterson, who also does a lot of the formatting, which takes a lot of attention to detail to put this actual budget book report together. So huge thank you to everybody.
Yeah, so I extend that congratulations to those you cited and say good work, everyone. Good teamwork. Thank you.
Thank you,
If those
Tristana.
who've helped, which is several people over here.
Do we have any team members here?
Yeah, right there. Hold
You
up your
stand up.
hand. Hold up.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Any other comments? Trustee Sullivan?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. I think for the public, what you'll see tonight is now we'll vote, right, on the budget. That's our next item. So you're not going to see discussion up here tonight because as you saw in one of the first slides, the board has been working on this for several months. And throughout those months, we've taken under consideration variables, things beyond our control, trying to predict what state legislature is going to do with respect to funding. Dr. Head serves on a state finance commission. They're dealing with a number of issues that will drive the revenue, will drive the discussion about revenue and what's available to the college district for their budget. You heard from Dr. Bergdorf talking about the need and the appreciation for increases in salaries. It might sound like a lot to the general public, but the general public doesn't realize all the years that you didn't get a bump and the years that an adjunct got $1, literally $1 per hour increase. So there's a lot that goes into it. Those discussions aren't going to be here tonight, but they have occurred leading up to the budget. Jennifer's done a great job as chairman of the finance committee. I've enjoyed working with her and my colleagues as well, just to make sure that we were on track and we're on track. And we continue to create opportunities for students with workforce certificates, retraining people, giving people an opportunity for second careers, transfer hours, as you mentioned, Dr. Head, earlier. Just a lot of things that this college system does. And it's very expensive. And we heard tonight, I'll speak for myself, first person, from a large number of people that want us to increase the homestead exemption. And that's something that both the chancellor and myself and others have said we're going to listen to. We're going to start having those discussions going forward, but they don't happen overnight. There are also competing interests of students and homeowners and business owners that expect us to train, educate this community. We have to keep the lights on, as they say. And then we have unfunded mandates, which we don't talk about very much. Maybe we ought to start talking about that as well because they all cost money. So with that said, you're just going to see a vote. And I just don't want the public to think that we're listening to Jennifer and this is what she wants and they didn't hear us. because we do hear you, and we are going to have those discussions going forward.
And let me just,
Trustee Stone, yes?
yes, let me just reinforce what Trustee Sullivan has just said. In all of our budgetary discussions, we always look at the tax rates. It's certainly a mission for us not to raise taxes. And if the opportunity presents itself, you know, we would like to lower those taxes. But we have to be responsible, as Trustee Sullivan has said. We'll continue to look at this. We'll have hearings over the next few months. I think the exemption rate is certainly on the top of our list to consider. Just these things take time and planning. And we have to complete our mission, you know, as you've elected us to do. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Trustee Stoma. So Jennifer, thank you so much for putting this together and all your team. You superb things. So thank you so much. All those in favor? Please vote aye. All those
Trustee, Madam Chair, this is Trustee Pierce. I abstain. I abstain.
Let the record show that Trustee Pierce abstains from item number 2. The item passes. Thank you. Our next item to review separately is item number 37. And I'll have Trustee Murillo to lead on that.
Yes, Madam Chair, I would like to make a motion that the Chancellor's employment contract be approved according to the terms discussed in closed session.
Been moved in second?
Yeah.
Any second?
It's been second. Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Any comments or questions? Do you want to say anything about?
Any questions or anything? That's the motion right now, then we can open it up.
All right, all those in favor, please vote aye.
Aye.
All those
Madam
opposed?
Chair, this is Trustee Pierce. I abstain.
Thank you, Trustee Pierce. Please let the record show that Trustee Pierce abstains. Item number 37 passes. Thank you very much. I just would like to make it just a very brief comment that we, Dr. Head, we're extremely proud of the work that you do for the college. We want to make sure we make this public. We have, you know, kept us in a really good position, and I know it's very difficult sometimes, especially during COVID. But thanks to you and all your team, we've done pretty good. So thank you very much. Very deserved. Thank you. If we could move to the financial reports.
Turn that on. Thank you, trustees. I have for you tonight the financial statements for this is the current fiscal year for the month ending June 30th, 2022. This first slide shows where we stand so far this year on revenues as compared to the current year's adopted budget. We have brought in actual revenue so far of $375 million, which is 94.3% of what was in the adopted budget that was adopted by the board last August. This percentage, you can see it's lower than where we were same point in time last year, sort of in line with years prior to that, but it was down a bit from last year. And a lot of this is still driven by this current year's budget. We had built it with the assumption that enrollments would remain flat. And as we know, revenues did decline this fiscal year. Next slide, please. This chart shows the expenditures for, again, the month ending, as of the month ending June 30th, 2022. Here, so far this year, we have spent $278 million in actual expenditures, which is 72.3% of what was in the adopted budget. And here you can see we are continuing to manage closely our expenditures in comparison to where we were in prior years as a percentage of the adopted budget. Next slide, please. So to convert these charts, those charts show you, of course, not the entire fiscal year. So then here we do the forecast of what we think the variance will be for the entire fiscal year. And here we are showing an estimated $4 million in fewer revenues. Again, this is due to the tuition revenues. This current year's budget was adopted assuming that flat enrollment, and we did see a decline this fall 2021 of 2.4%. And then in the spring, we saw a decline of 6.2%. And if I could add to this, we don't have up here because we just ran the numbers, but we have from the summer term. Well, so there's good news and some bad news. But so the good news is that for the spring, right, we had estimated a decline of, let's see, 2.8 million for this spring in revenues. But we did that as of official day. We trued that up with the entire term because we have late starts. We have the second 8 weeks. And there we did actually see less of a revenue loss than we had estimated as of official day. So that did give us a positive increase, which really helped then offset what we would have estimated of a decline in revenues from the summer term. Because the summer term has a decline of 2.4%. So between those two things, thankfully, the decline in the summer has really been offset by additional enrollments that was picked up in the late terms of this past spring. So that's why there is no change in the forecasted budget variance for revenues.
So Jennifer, I want the board to make sure, no matter what happens in the fall, we don't overspend the budget. We'll reduce the budget immediately. If we're down in the fall, we'll reduce the budget appropriately. But when we do all of this, then we'll take a look in the spring. So then we take a look in the summer. So when we're taking a look at this, it's over really a 3 segment enrollment period when we're considering the budget. But I'm going to say again, if we're down, we reduce the budget. The presidents know that and the vice chancellors know it. And we'll start almost immediately reducing the budget if we're down this fall. So, and we're fine. We can make the adjustments. So,
as a follow-up, Dr. Head, in dollars, just generally, what is a 1% drop in enrollment equal to dollars?
it's about 1.2 still, 1.2 million, roughly.
So if you have 2%, that times.
Well, right now we're approaching 3. So that's the kind of the way I'm looking at two of our presidents over here. That doesn't, they talk, I mean, we do the campuses and the system office, and we have formulas that we use or proportions that we use. So right now we're looking at, say, a 3, that'd be almost $4 million that we reduce the budget. So, but that's on a $400 million budget, so we can deal with that.
But it's real.
It's real dollars that we cut. So,
thank you.
Yep.
Next slide, please. I will say, I think Dr. Head took a little bit of my thunder here for this slide. The expenditure slide, yes, our standard practice is that as we see revenues down compared to what the budget was, we then turn around and make a corresponding budget reduction. So this is where you can see that for this fiscal year so far, having that forecasted variance of 4 million on the revenue side, we did then go make $4 million worth of budget reductions this current fiscal year. And that is the intention going into next year. Again, the budget that was just adopted for fiscal year 2023 did again assume flat enrollment. Once we get into the semesters, if it is down again, the plan is to continue to make these budget reductions as we have been, so we keep our expenditures in line with the decline in students and the decline in those revenues. And I will say we've made, it's definitely getting painful. We did a 5% across the board reduction when COVID first hit. And ever since then, each term when there's a decline, we do this and make the corresponding budget reduction. So we have been making reductions for a little while now along the way.
just for clarification, when I say we reduce the budget, if we're a negative, that's assuming what we project. So I don't think we've projected a negative in the last 2 years, or did we? 2 years ago?
We did the first budget year coming in
21,
COVID.
fall of
Yes.
21, we projected negative.
Yes, but then this
So
current year.
we've been
and
trying to
this-
hit the number right so that we don't have to reduce the budget. So if we project a -4 and we hit that number, then we're fine. If we don't exceed that number, if we only have a -2, then we've just added more dollars back to the budget. But does that make sense? I mean, so we're flat. We projected a flat enrollment, although that's not what I thought was going to happen. Well, I'm looking at the colleges over there, the college presidents, if we can get the numbers in, it's not just them. There's a lot of people working on this. And I'm hoping that we'll be up 2 or 3%. And keep in mind that, so we have the fall enrollment, but then we have late start. We have rolling enrollments that actually count. You may not see it in the fall, but we'll have, I don't know how many sections you all have, quite a few. So for students that don't sign up starting in August or September, then we want them to come back in. And Houston North has 8-week classes that start later. So all that factors in. At the end of the year, we add up all of that. So.
Okay,
Right.
Could I, sorry to ask so many questions tonight. I apologize to my colleagues. You mentioned our enrollment is down at this point. Have you talked to your peers locally? What are the other community colleges?
Well,
either
over the
across
last
state?
biennium, we were down 4%. Houston Community College it was down 21%. And so there are a few colleges that were up, but they were small colleges. And so it's hard to tell. I think I mentioned to you that there's 50 college systems in the state. 22 of them have enrollments of less than 5,000. I mean, if you took the bottom 22, we're larger than the bottom 22. So some of them have an enrollment increase of 100, and then it looks like they've grown 15% or something, which doesn't mean anything to us. I mean, that's not. So generally, we're in that top group of people, colleges, and probably in the top 5 of lower declines than everybody else did. We're in really good shape compared to everybody else. But again, as I stated earlier, I'm not so worried about what everybody else is doing. I'm looking at us because I know the students are out there. We picked up 400 you saw in the redistricting, we picked up 480, almost 500,000 people in the census. And we know what the age groups, we know how many 1st, 3rd, 5th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, and 12th graders are out there. One of the issues, and I was in Washington last week, one of the issues for us is we know what the demographics are here. So we knew that we would be seeing a slight decline in seniors coming in this year, and then it starts picking up again. And then it drops again in the future. So we're looking at how many 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th graders. Now, that will change as people start moving in. If people keep moving in the way they've been moving in, including Montgomery County and Magnolia, that changes. But those were the latest projections that we had, that we would have a slight decline in seniors coming out of high school, which impacts. And that doesn't mean our enrollments need to decline, because then we can look at adult learners, for example. And then we go more to, one reason I like what we're doing with the state planning is we're going to be rewarding credit and non-credit in terms of the dollars that they would award that, because you can get right now, a lot of these non-credit degrees, they're workforce degrees, but they put you to work. They're credentialed. So they have state credentials or national credentials. And a lot of these jobs are coming out with $75,000 and $100,000 salaries, which is why we've been focused so much on that. So it's a combination of things. But to answer your question, I'd like for us to get on the plus side, but compared to everybody else in the region, we're doing fine. We're in the top 1 or 2 in our region. So.
Thank you, Trustee Solomon. May I add just to that question? When you said compared to everyone else, can you tell the public, like, what are the 5 colleges that we sort of?
Well, we look at our peer group. So Dallas was down about 19%. Dallas is, we're the largest community college in the state of Texas by almost 10,000 students now. So Dallas is one of our peer schools. Tarrant County was down 20 or 21. That's in Fort Worth. Alamo and San Antonio was down a little bit, not much. Austin Community College was flat. They were probably down 5 or 6%. And so Houston, and those are the colleges that we compare ourselves to. just because of the urban suburban makeup that we have, it's easier for us to take a look at them than it would be a college out in East Texas or West Texas. That just doesn't, because we have the population. But those are what I would call the big five schools. So
Thank you. Jennifer, I don't know if you want to.
That does conclude my financial report for the month ending June 30th, 2022. And included in the board packets is also the building and grounds report. Thank you.
Thank you, Jennifer. Okay, our next item is, I don't think we have any building and grounds reports, suggested future items. Trustees, do we have any suggested future items for next board meeting? So hearing none, it is 6:59 p.m. and the meeting is adjourned. Thank you so much.
Hi, how you doing? Oh, I know who you are. Oh my God, I just recognized you. I said, who is that? Good. Nice to see you again. How's it going? Good. Good.